Selam, here I am with the third episode of Islam and Architecture YouTube channel. In the last chapter, we talked about the Prophet Muhammad's love of beauty, and from there, we looked at the Muslim understanding of art and entertainment and discussed activities that appeal to the five senses. Now let's continue on this subject. I am Saykan Duman and welcome to the IA. I told you before, the issue of appealing to the five senses is at the center of the understanding of art and entertainment in the East, especially in the Muslim East. The words for this are activism and participation. Muslims do not embrace religious, artistic or recreational activities in which they are not actively involved. In events that are only designed to be watched, the distinction between audience and performer leads to a kind of idolization. The artist becomes an unattainable and superhuman being on stage, on television, or in cinema. But in a participatory event, where there is no sharp division of the stage, there is no pointless glorification. It's important that participation is not only mental, but also physical. In Eastern cultures, many forms of education are not only for the mind, but also for the body. This type of training involves a long period of physical training. The discovery of body is undoubtedly different from what can be found with the mind. For this reason, many of the arts in pre-modern Japan had the name pad. The habit of individuality and participation in Islam is also related to the form of religion. For example, instead of constant rationalizing speeches and indoctrination, it's important to demonstrate religion by living it. We see that Muslim worship is also participatory. The most important of these is Salah. Just like the pilgrimage to the Kaaba, Salah requires participation. Salah has influenced both the way Muslims dress and the place where they live. At this point, the Prophet Muhammad was taken as a role model. Dress is important in Islam, but there is no uniformity. The main reason for this is that there is no categorization, such as priesthood in Islam. The important thing is that the Salah is comfortable. Because of the importance of the individual and participation in Islam, the importance of clothing is so high. The way we dress also has a huge impact on the human psyche. It is known that the first man was painted with sacred paint before he put on protective clothing. There are also special costumes for religious ceremonies from the earliest times. Given that everyone dresses the same all over the world, uniformity in look and feel comes to the fore.
Look at us. We're just like everyone else.
Martin Links, also known as Abu Bekir Sirajuddin, says, "The closest thing to a human soul is first the clothes he wears, and then the house he lives in." At this point, let us remember that the Kaaba was also dressed. This is an important subtext in terms of clothing and home. Just as the dress is shaped according to Salah, the Muslim home is formed according to Salah. The fact that Salah is performed on the ground has created a ground-centered life in the Islamic world. The concept of less furniture and flexible space has come with this reality. The relationship of Muslims to time is also a matter of Salah. The day is divided into chapters by the 5 daily prayers. Muslims start the day before sunrise for prayer. They plan their activities throughout the day according to prayer. The end of the day comes with the last Salah at night. Obviously, this behavior is not an obligation. In this context, it is God who is the author of the time through the creation of the sun, not a human being or a higher mind. What is important here is that Islam did not impose a specific time division, but rather named the already existing times of the sun. In other words, people were not forced to observe an artificial timetable, but were encouraged to harmonize with nature. The issue will be more easily grasped when compared with the time perception of today's modern clock, which does not take the sun into account and is based on its own calculation. When you look at the modern clock, the sun always rises at a different time. Capitalism dictates its own artificial time to people. Everything is designed according to money. At this point, Islam and capitalism contradict with different conceptions of time. Here we come to the end of this episode. See you in the next episode, inshallah.